What if I told you that originality, the thing we're told to chase in every creative field, is a myth? Think about it. Every story has already been told. Every melody has already been played. And yet, some works still feel brand new. Why? Take Beethoven's Für Elise. It sounds so natural, so inevitable, like it was always floating in the air, waiting for someone to catch it. If Beethoven hadn't written it, maybe another composer would have. But here's the key. It would have sounded different, because the person behind it changes everything. That's the real truth about creativity. It's not about inventing something no one's ever seen. It's about shaping what already exists in a way only you could. For years, I thought creativity meant chasing the wildest, most original ideas. Something shocking, something no one else could dream of. But then reality hit. Every plot has been used. Every genre has been explored. Every theme, love, loss, power, betrayal, survival has been told for centuries. So where does that leave us? Here's the answer. Originality doesn't come from the idea itself. It comes from interpretation. From the way you frame it, feel it, and live it. And in this video, I'm going to show you how the greatest filmmakers and writers proved this by turning familiar ideas into unforgettable art. You'll see how to start with feelings, turn them into metaphors, reinterpret old stories, and use your lived experience to make something no one else could. Start with a feeling. Start with Alfonso, director of Gravity. At first glance, Gravity is a space thriller. Sandra Bullock, lost in orbit, trying to survive. But it didn't begin with space. Was broke. A project collapsed. He felt like his world was spinning out of control, and all he wanted was to land on solid ground again. Instead of writing about being broke, he asked, "What does this feeling look like?" Spinning, breathless, floating, desperate to touch Earth. That became Gravity. Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver, used the same method. He told his students, "Don't start with a plot. Write down your biggest personal problem, then ask what's the metaphor for it." For him, it was loneliness. He was broke, isolated, driving at night, cut off from everyone around him. That became Travis Bickle, man, alone in a cab, surrounded by people, but living behind glass. The takeaway: don't start with concepts. Start with feelings. Then turn those feelings into metaphors. That's where stories get their power. Reinterpret. Don't reinvent. Now, let's look at Park Chan-wook's Oldboy. The idea came from a Japanese manga. But Park didn't just copy it. He changed the focus. Instead of asking, why was he imprisoned? He asked, why was he let go? Single shift turned it into a modern Greek tragedy filled with guilt, punishment, and emotional chaos. He turned it into a fistful of dollars. Same premise, but Leone slowed the pacing, used silence as tension, and made heroes morally gray. In the process, he created an entirely new flavor, the spaghetti western. The lesson: Sergio Leone did something similar with Kurosawa's Yojimbo. You don't need to invent a new story. You just need a new angle, question, or language. Lived experience beats concept. Here's the most powerful example. Neill Blomkamp's District 9. He grew up in apartheid South Africa. But instead of making a historical drama, he made a sci-fi film about aliens forced into slums. It wasn't really about aliens, it was about segregation, categories, and fences. That film landed hard because it carried his lived truth. Later, he made movies with bigger budgets and flashier effects, but they didn't hit the same way. Why? Because they came from concept. not lived experience. And then there's Tarantino. He openly admits he borrows Scorsese mammoth Hong Kong films like City on Fire. But the mix of music, dialogue, pacing, that was his taste, his interpretation. The point. Lived truth and honest taste make even familiar ideas feel new. Authenticity is what makes creativity matter. How to do this yourself. So how can you use this? Here's a simple framework. Step 1. Start with a feeling. Write one line. I feel trapped, restless, invisible, weightless. Step R. Find a metaphor. A cage, a storm, a locked room, a spinning orbit. Step 3. Choose the form. Maybe it's a short story, a painting, a film, or even a YouTube video. Step 4. Add your lens, your culture, your background, your obsessions. Step Woo. Flip something. Change the question. Change the moral rules. Change the pace. Step Lu. Set style rules. Pick your color palette. Decide how you'll use silence, music, or pacing. Step 7. Test it. Make a short sketch, draft, or clip. Ask one question. What did you feel? That's it. Not chasing originality, but creating something no one else could because it came through you. So here's the truth. Originality is not about inventing something new. It's about putting yourself into what already exists. Wrote the feeling. Schrader wrote the metaphor. Park flipped the question. Leone reinvented the style. Blomkamp reshaped history. Tarantino remixed his influences. They weren't the first, but they were the ones who made it theirs. Stop chasing originality. Start chasing authenticity. Now I want to hear from you. What's one feeling you've had recently that could be turned into a metaphor? Write it in the comments. If this video opened your perspective, hit like, share it with someone creative, and subscribe for more philosophy through film. Next video, how to build your personal style using rhythm, color, and constraints. Because the world doesn't need more new ideas. It needs your version of the story.